Hi, this is Professor Groth. I'm your instructor for Economics 2301 online, and today I'm going to try to go over Chapter 3, Section 1, Comparative Advantage and Absolute Advantage. And I'm going to start off with the definition of comparative advantage. Comparative advantage means that an entity, which could be a person, a company, a country, a city, has the ability to produce a good or service at a lower opportunity cost. And these are your key words for comparative advantage. You need to link that in your head with the term lower opportunity cost, which means you're going to have to do some calculation, you're going to have to do some math in order to find comparative advantage. Absolute advantage is defined as the entity that can produce more of a good or service than any other producer. They're going to be able to produce more. And so the key word here is more. And from here, we're going to go on and look at a specific problem. We have two countries, Pakistan and Peru. They're producing bushels of corn or cameras. In any unit of time, this chart right here indicates that there is one unit of time, and the unit of time is the same for both countries, Peru and Pakistan. And this is what they can produce. So Pakistan can produce 10 bushels of corn or 5 cameras. Peru can produce 9 bushels of corn or 3 cameras. And the first one is easy. That's the absolute advantage. Again, absolute advantage means, so I'm spelling that wrong. Absolute advantage means more. I tell my students to say the phrase to themselves, absolutely more, so that they will know. So we're going to look at corn, and we're going to look at which country can produce more of that product in the same unit of time. Well, it's easy to see that 10 is more than 9. So Pakistan has the absolute advantage in corn. Yes, I'm looking to make sure I read that correctly, 10 in corn. And then we're going to look to see which country can produce more cameras. And we look at the row for cameras, we look across, we find 5. So Pakistan also has the absolute advantage in cameras. And again, the key word is more, absolutely more. In any unit of time, Pakistan can produce more bushels of corn, 10 versus 9, and can produce more cameras, 5 versus 3, than in Peru. The next one is not absolute advantage, it is comparative advantage, and comparative advantage implies that you're going to have to do some math because you have to find the lower opportunity cost. So comparative advantage. Comparative advantage, again, implies that you have to find the opportunity cost. It's going to be the smaller opportunity cost. So in order to find the opportunity cost, and I'm going to tell y'all right off the bat that this is different than what the professionals in my econ lab have as their method for finding this. I taught math for many years before I taught economics, took economics without any undergraduate classes, and no one explained to me how to do this, so I had to relate it to something in math. So if you've had ratios in math lately, then you should be able to understand this. We're going to look at the opportunity cost for bushels of corn in Pakistan, and you have to understand that the ratio is, it is 10 to 5. This is corn to cameras. And the ratio that you're wanting to find is what is the opportunity cost for 1 bushel of corn. So you're going to divide this by 10, divide this by 10, and you're going to end up with 1 bushel of corn to 1/2 of a camera. And what that means is if they want to produce 1 more bushel of corn, then they're going to have to give up producing 1/2 of a camera in that unit of time. So we come over here under opportunity cost, and 1 bushel of corn is equal to 1/2 of a camera. So to read what I've written, the opportunity cost for 1 bushel of corn is 1/2 of a camera. And we're going to come down and we're going to do the same type of ratio for cameras. We're going to start out with cameras on this side because we're trying to find out what the ratio is for 1 camera. We have 5 cameras to 10 bushels of corn. Again, we want this ratio to be 1 camera, so we divide both of these by 5 and we get 2 bushels of corn. So I'm going to put 2 right here. And if you haven't noticed, these are called reciprocals. 2 can be written as 2 over 1, and if you've done these correctly, then the opportunity costs are going to be reciprocals. So far we have that the opportunity cost for 1 bushel of corn is 1/2 of a camera, and the opportunity cost for 1 camera is 2 bushels of corn. And we're going to do the same thing for Peru. We're going to try to find the opportunity cost for 1 bushel of corn, and our ratio is 9 bushels of corn to 3 cameras. So we're going to reduce that so that we have 1 bushel of corn to 1/3 of a camera. So the opportunity cost here is 1/3. I don't really need that line, sorry. 1/3 of a camera. And again, we should know that this is going to be a reciprocal. It's going to be 3, but we're going to go ahead and work that out. We're going to take 3 cameras to 9 bushels of corn. We need to know what 1 camera is. So we divide by 3. 1 camera is equal to 3 bushels of corn. So we're going to put a 3 right here. These are cameras. I'm sorry. This is cameras. This row is cameras. And this row is bushels of corn. So if it asks you on your exam, what is the opportunity cost of cameras in Pakistan, you can come right here and find that. What is the opportunity cost of corn in Peru? You can come right here and find that. It's 1/3 of a camera. And if it's asking you who has the comparative advantage, the operative word for comparative advantage is that it must be the lower opportunity cost, which means the smaller number. So here we're looking for the smaller number. So when we're looking at which country has the smaller opportunity cost for corn, we read across here, and the smaller number, 1/3, 1/2 or 1/3, the smaller number is going to be 1/3. So Peru has the lower opportunity cost for corn. It's 1/3 of a camera, which implies that they have the comparative advantage. And then if we want to look at who has the advantage in cameras, we read across this row and we look for the smaller number that we calculated, and our smaller number is 2 bushels of corn. So Pakistan is going to have the comparative advantage, has the comparative advantage in producing cameras. And my students in my face-to-face classes have always liked this method of doing it, because then no matter what the multiple choice questions are, they have all the answers written out. They can also look to make sure that these are reciprocals, because that's a constant in these kind of problems. And there are a lot of advantages to doing these problems this way. Now again, this is a totally different method from the professionals in My Econ Lab, which you can get to from your home page in My Econ Lab by looking on the left side of the menu. There's a tab called Multimedia, and you click on there, and then you click on Videos. It's on the bottom right side, and you can narrow that by chapter, and it'll show you your videos. There's also animated PowerPoints in there in case you have never explored in there and found that, but both of those are there to help explain the chapters to you. They do a whole lot better job at the videos than I do, and I hope that you'll consider looking at theirs. Again, the only reason I did this is because it's an alternative method to what is posted in My Econ Lab. If you have any questions or want to Skype or FaceTime with me on how to do these, my number's available in the syllabus. Hope y'all have a great day. Hope y'all do well in your second exam over chapter 2 and 3.